I feel really embarrassed because everybody else has talked and they didn't have notes. and I'm going to read my speech. Well, in fact, I hadn't even thought about doing anything like this until a couple of weeks ago I walked in the office and I saw Al editing something, and I looked down and I said, "Are you going to give a speech?" and then a couple of days later I thought, well, you know, I guess maybe I should say a few things about him. And so I typed this up. I typed this really neat speech up. But it was in tiny, tiny little print, and I thought, well, I want to enlarge the font. Is that what you call it? I wanted to enlarge the font, and so I highlighted my whole speech, and I went up to change the font, and I hit something, and it all disappeared. So I had to think about what I said and rewrite it. So if I'm going rabbit trails or I'm going to give it my best. And you know what? I asked for a podium because you guys are scary out there. I mean, I'm just shaking and I wanted a podium so you couldn't see my knees shaking. But I don't see the podium. So anyway, here's my speech. Oh, well, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming. I am just blown away, overwhelmed. I couldn't eat one bite tonight. I'm so excited. My friend Paul and Robert on Brandon, Paul said I reminded him of a squirrel on crack. I don't know how that feels, but I'm feeling it right now. So anyway, thank you all for coming. And, like I said, we have my cousins. I didn't even know my cousins were coming from Missouri. And I'm shaking. Anyway, I'm going to start reading so you guys can go home. Okay, you all know Al. Yes. Everybody knows Al. I don't have to tell you what a great person he is. You already know that. Everyone likes Al. I can't think of a single person that has said that they didn't like him. I don't think. He never meets a stranger on the streets. No one is a stranger to him. He can start and carry on a conversation like he's known them all his life. And the grandkids, like all of our grandkids said tonight, they all come to him for wisdom and advice. I have been a very blessed woman to have him in my life for 50 years. He married me when he was very, very young. So was I. And he took on the role of my 4 kids. He was young, and I had 4 kids, and he ruined my speech. The kids were like 5, 4, 3, and 2. The first time, here we go, the first time he asked me out, I was totally shocked. I mean, he was at Lowry Air Force Base in Denver, but he worked nights at the pizza oven, and I was a waitress there. And the first time he asked me out, I was totally shocked. I looked at him and I said, I have 4 kids. And he never blinked an eye. And he said, I didn't ask how many kids you had. I asked if you wanted to go to the movies with me. So there you have it twice. But you know what? That takes a very special man. I gotta catch my breath. Breathe in. What do they say?
You're not having another child.
Now, the 4 kids, when we got married, the 4 kids have always considered him their real dad. In fact, Jay didn't even know he wasn't his real dad. Then came along our 2 girls together. You know? So that gave him 6 kids to take care of and support, and he was still very, very young. And when I think about all this, I realize that if I hadn't met Al, or if I did meet him but didn't marry him, there would never have been a Wendy or a Crystal, or Sierra, Buddy, Brody, TJ, and Taylor. So we've been blessed. I also consider myself blessed because he treats me like a queen. He does. He treats me like a queen. And he does so much for me all the time, not just once in a while. And not because I ask him to or demand this or that, do this or do that, but because he wants to, really. That's the kind of person he is. Did I tell you what a good man he is? Yes. And but you know what? I know my kids may sometimes think that he does too much for me, or that I might use him or something. But he just does that, kids, because that's him. That's the way he is. I don't ask him to do that for me. But anyway, it's just that's just natural for him, okay? If someone would ask me what it takes to last for 50 years, I guess I thought about it, and I thought about a couple of things that kept us going over the hard times. First, I have learned over the years that 10% of the conflicts in a marriage are due to differences in opinions, and 90% are due to a wrong tone of voice, which I have. That is totally me. Which some of you friends out there probably have already heard that tone of voice. You know what I'm talking about. But you get the wrong. Anyway, most of our conflicts were probably because of my tone of voice. My biggest problem is my mouth. And I've learned that it's not what you say, but how you say it. So that's one thing. And I'm so thankful that Al put up with me and stuck with me with my mouth. And you know, there's a saying out there that says, everyone comes with baggage. So what you have to do is find someone who will love you enough to help you unpack. Unpacked for 50 years, and I'm still unpacking. I got a little bit more, and then I'm done. I was in Walmart the other day, and I was telling the checkout lady we were celebrating our 50th anniversary. She asked me what the secret was of our success. I told her, and I'm sharing with you now, you have to choose to stay with your spouse in spite of their flaws. Don't dwell on all the things that you don't like about them. Make a deliberate choice to hang in there no matter what. I read a good quote the other day that said, do what you did in the beginning of a relationship and there won't be an end. I thought that was a good quote. Think about that. Think about what you saw in them when you first met them and focus on that. And you know what I focused on? I thought he was cute. Don't you agree? Isn't he cute? Yeah. You all saw how cute he was on the screen. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, I'm sharing with you a lot of quotes that I've heard. They didn't really come from me, but I heard them. But this is the best one to close with. They say that the first 50 years are the hardest. Al, we made it! Now I'm looking forward to the best years, for the rest of my life, with
Yeah.
That's another thing your spouse should be, is your very best friend.
That's right.
After the Lord, of course. The Lord should be your first best friend, but your spouse should be your second best friend. So you know what? After 50 years, he still calls me his bride. You know that? Everybody knows Bonnie as Al's bride. 50 years. So all of you married people out there, if you hang in there and you make it to your 50th, you will sure be glad you did. Okay? That's it.